Once upon a time when someone said Land Rover, this was what came to mind. It's a Series 1 Land Rover, the first example ever registered in Australia, and the 138th vehicle ever built by the iconic British brand. This is a car and a brand with a lot of history. Land Rover and this model itself launched way back in 1948 in the shadows of World War II, and it's clear that the inspiration was the army-spec Willys Jeep. However, Land Rover says its car was always about agriculture, and we believe this particular model spent the majority of its life on a farm out near Young. History tells us that the Land Rover was only supposed to be built for a few years until parent company Rover had enough cash flow to sort out its luxury car offerings. But the popularity of the Land Rover was unprecedented, and here we are nearly 70 years down the track, and it will soon be time to say goodbye to this icon. That's because an all-new Defender, as the hardcore Land Rover is now known, will be on the scene in about 2018. So, what better time to compare one of the oldest Land Rovers in existence with a couple of newer ones? The current models are still built on the same production line in Solihull, England, and while a lot has changed over the years in terms of interior, comfort, refinement and engine technology, there are a few things that have remained the same, like the all-aluminium alloy body and the exposed rivets, which still remain pretty cool. Let's take a closer look at the Series 1 and see just how basic the original Land Rover really was. Back in the day, the original Land Rover was so basic that the door tops were an option, so was the roof. And it's fair to say that this is not what anyone would have considered comfortable. But what it was highly versatile. Four-wheel drive meant you could go pretty much anywhere, and this car has been everywhere. Yeah, it's been to Birdsville, would you believe? It would have been a slow trip. Steering's extremely heavy and there's a lot of play. The engine is ridiculously noisy. It's a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder petrol, 4-speed manual gearbox, and the linkages between the gears are tight. Let's say tight. But wow, is it a cool thing to drive? Yes, it is. Has it got plenty of history? Yes, it does. Pretty lucky to be able to do this, to be honest. The Series 1, Series 2 and 2A and Series 3 all came and went, and they were replaced by a different set of numbers, the 90 for the short wheelbase and the 110 for the long wheelbase. And then came a name, Defender, and we believe this Defender may be one of the first ever produced. Obviously, it looks more modern. It's got a fully enclosed body, full-size doors, and a single-piece windscreen. But further to that, the Defender, the 90 and the 110 took the brand forward in terms of technology and comfort. Let's go for a drive and find out just how comfortable it isn't. When the body shape changed to the 90 and 110 and then the Defender after that, it brought with it a more advanced suspension setup, coil springs all around. And the idea was that it would make it more comfortable and offer better off-road ability due to better wheel articulation. We're not taking it off-road today, but I can tell you it's a mile more comfortable over bumps than the old Series 1. It also brought with it new engines. This one, for example, has a 2.5 litre turbo diesel and a 5-speed manual gearbox, so an extra gear over the old Series 3 and 2 and 2A and 1 and all the ones that came before it. That 2.5 litre's got about 80 kilowatts and 240 newton meters of torque, and it does feel relatively peppy, though it is extremely loud, and down low in the rev range it's very laggy. One of the other things it got as part of the 90 and 110 upgrade was a Range Rover derived off-road system with diff lock. Apparently that makes it a menace off-road. I'm not going to test it though. I don't want to wreck this poor owner's car. It didn't have a lot of the stuff that we're used to these days. It didn't have air conditioning, for example, but it's got vents that you can open up underneath the windscreen to let airflow in. That's excellent. But it does have power steering, and that makes a massive difference to the maneuverability at low speeds. You can even get a decent turning circle. Although, not brilliant still by today's standards. And it's also a bit of a shame about the brakes, because they don't really work. All those years of progress have led us to this point, the Land Rover Defender 90 Heritage Edition, a limited run model that's sold out in Australia and it's probably sold out all around the world as well. It's a nod to the first ever Land Rover, which had the number plate HUE166 and was affectionately referred to as Huey. This model though is a long way from where the first model started off. It builds upon the 90, but with some authentic sort of retro style changes, including the Grasmere green paint on the body and the wheels. And it's also got the original Land Rover badges and the authentic looking plastic grille. Inside, that Land Rover logo is also embossed on the almond cloth trim seats, while there are also red and yellow trims around the gear shifters and a metallic four-wheel drive plaque to help you on your way. So it's better looking inside and out, but does it drive any better? In short, it's still hard work. It's still hard to get in and out of, and it's still quite a chore to drive, particularly around town. But what it is, like the Series 1 and the Defender before it, is characterful and very fulfilling to drive. It's a lot of fun. As time has moved on, there's been other changes, such as a new engine, 2.2 litre turbo diesel in this one, and a new gearbox, a 6-speed manual. So we've gone from 4 to 5 to 6, and it retains those same serious off-road capabilities, but we're not taking the risk to get this one dirty. It's too rare. How rare is it? Well, only 2,654 will be sold worldwide. That's a tiny 0.1% of all Land Rover series models and Defenders ever made. Total is more than 2 million, so it's rare. If you're one of the fortunate few who gets to put one of these in your garage, you'll be happy to know that while times may be changing, the spirit of Land Rover certainly hasn't. We just hope that the next generation Defender can stay true to that spirit. Look how vague it is!